Here we are at the Blackboard tour portion of the syllabus and Blackboard tour videos. So this is your Blackboard site for Online History 132. Now, if this isn't the theme or the color scheme of yours, that's okay because the content is the same. So if we start here on the announcements page, you can see that first announcement that got emailed on the very first day of class, instructing you to look at this tab over here, which we'll get into that in a minute. And it just is some general welcome information, so please read that. There's a little welcome video here so you can actually see my face, and just some information about the first discussion board that is due next week at the end of week 1 on that Friday. So this is just to take you through the Blackboard site and give you a little bit of an introduction to where everything is and what you can find where. So if we take a look over here on the left side, we've got a few different buttons. You've got the announcements, which that's where we are right now. You've got the enrollment verification quiz that you need to take by January 17th. That's the census date. You need to have that done by January 17th at 11:59 p.m. to remain in the course. If you don't take it by then, you will be dropped. You have the syllabus, which we just looked at. You can also find the syllabus here under Welcome to History 132. Underneath that, you'll find the assignments, which has every week a folder for each week in the class with everything that you'll be doing that week. We'll look at that. And then the My Instructor tab is basically the contact tab. So it has some information about me and my picture. So let's start with the Welcome to History 132 tab. So as you can see, there's a copy of the welcome video. There's the syllabus and Blackboard tour, which you're watching now. Woo! The History 132 syllabus that we just looked at that can also be found right here under the syllabus button. The reading breakdown, which shows reading assignments and important due dates for the entire semester. So when you click on that, it opens up this document here. Okay. So basically it's the schedule and then the assignments for that week. So for Give Me Liberty, that is abbreviated GML. Voices of Freedom, your document book, is VOF. And Blackboard is abbreviated BB. So for example, let's go to week 4 here. There are some pages for Give Me Liberty. 3 documents from Voices of Freedom. Those are numbered like that in the table of contents. So that's not some weird numbering system on my part. That's what you'll see when you look at the table of contents for Voices of Freedom. And then there's How the Other Half Lives through History Study Center that's linked on Blackboard. Now you will not be able to access that document if you're off campus. If you're off campus, the link for History Study Center does not work. You'll have to go to the library website and log in and then go to electronic resources, and that's where you can find History Study Center and then search for How the Other Half Lives, and then you'll find it that way. There are directions for that. So you can see week 5, exam 1 is due on Blackboard. Week 7, your first paper is due. So this just, as you go through the semester, it has everything we're doing, important due dates, reading, etc., all that good stuff. So that is the reading breakdown. So I recommend that you have that downloaded to your computer and you can refer to it often because that's basically your lifeline to all the important reading assignments for the semester. There's a discussion board FAQ that I referred to when we were talking about the syllabus. It's got all the things you should ask yourself before you submit the discussion board, and to an extent the papers as well. There's the peer editing quick guide that when we do our rough draft workshop, let me refer here to my reading breakdown so I can see when that is. That's week 14. We're going to have a rough draft workshop. So you'll want to consult that peer editing quick guide for some tips on how you want to offer some feedback for your classmates' work. A primary document checklist here also. This is a great little checklist of questions that you can ask yourself when you're reading primary documents. We're going to read things written in the 1800s, 1900s, things like that might be a little bit tricky to understand, or you can't quite figure out what this person's trying to say, or their argument, or something like that. And so this document checklist has just some things you can ask yourself as you're reading through, and it can really, really help you sort of connect to that document a bit better. So that's everything under Welcome to History 132. So if we go over here to the Assignments tab, here, as I said, is where you've got every single week for the entire semester. Now, keep in mind, week 2, Monday is MLK holiday, but that does not affect us. We still have things due on Friday, and that's a regular week, so that doesn't affect us at all. Now, if we have a bunch of inclement weather and JCC is closed for like 3 days, then yes, that will affect our schedule, but MLK Day does not affect us. So for today, the first day of class, you would go to the Introduction folder. There's the syllabus again. It's everywhere. The reading breakdown, the primary document checklist, and there's your Introduce Yourself discussion board. So just take a minute to tell us where you're from. If you want to go by a different name than your username, let us know what that is. Tell us what your major and degree path is and what you're most excited to learn about in the class. Then you can take a minute to respond to the posts of at least 2 of your classmates. Now, of course, this takes the place of an in-person icebreaker activity that we would do if we were like all in a classroom together. So please take the time to comment on at least 2 other students' posts. This will sort of help you guys get to know each other. You're going to be commenting on each other's work throughout the entire semester. So it's best to start getting familiar and becoming, convivial from the start. So let's go back to that assignments. So as you can see, important things are listed on here as well. So week 5, exam 1 is due Friday. Week 7, paper 1 is due that Friday. Week 8, your study guide's available. Week 10, your exam is due. So even at a glance on here, if you're like, oh, I haven't looked at the syllabus in a while and it's week 3, what's going on? And you're in the assignments folder, oh, there's an exam 2 weeks from that. So I've made it so that everything is as clearly laid out as possible, and that you can find due dates and information in multiple places. So that's the assignments folder. And if we go to a regular week, for example, week 1, you'll see lecture notes, that's the script, the lecture outline, that's where your key terms and everything are. All the terms that are on the study guide for the exams come from those lecture outline terms. Lecture videos, those are the constitutional amendments. That's just a link you can click on. That's one of the readings for that week. And then here's a discussion board. It's going to ask you a question, okay? And then it's going to be about 500 words long. You got to cite your sources. There will be a video linked in here on how to cite your sources in the discussion. So be sure you do that. And just view that video before you do the discussion board so you know how to do that, right? And then be sure you comment on at least 2 other students' posts. That is part of the grade, right? That's how we have discussion in here. And just some details about how comments shouldn't just be, oh, great job, which you can praise your fellow students if you think they did well. That's awesome. But you also need to be adding to the conversation and carrying that discussion forward. Like, oh, I liked what you said about this element of Reconstruction, but I also found that this was really interesting and it speaks to what you said in this way, or something like that. So be thoughtful and really put a little bit of work into those comments so that we can have some really good discussions in here, because I know that we can. All right, so that's the assignments tab. So just to take one quick look at that again, there you go. It's all the weeks there. And again, if you have any questions about any of that, just let me know. So if we head over here to the My Instructor tab, it's me. So there's a picture of me from my cousin's wedding, actually, years ago. It was before I had kids, so I look well rested. And just some information about me. I'm really excited about this class. This is the first semester I've offered it online, and I'm really looking forward to it. I went to NC State, go Pack, right? And I love, baking. I made banana bread with my daughter just yesterday. We had a good time. She's 4, so she slammed that first egg right on the counter, and we had to clean that up, but then she did a good job after that. A little bit more about me. I love The Walking Dead and Game of Thrones and like just nerdy things. I'm a big fan of all that nerd type stuff. I go to conventions and all that because I am that dorky. So congratulations, you have a giant geek teaching you this semester. But I also am a huge history nerd, which comes in handy for things like this. So that is pretty much it for the Blackboard tour. If you need help with anything, this Blackboard 24/7 help desk is really awesome. It's got a little help website for you guys, a number you can call that's 24/7. You can also email Jolt. They are great. You can call them as well. So that's pretty much it. Just be sure that you take a look at this announcement that I sent out. You watch this video, and then you've got your icebreaker and your first discussion board are both going to be due on, or no, I'm sorry. Your icebreaker is going to be due on January. Wow, that's not right. Sorry, guys. So I'm going to change this. By the time you actually receive this, it'll look a little bit different. Your first discussion board is due on Friday, January 12th. That is correct. And then your first day of classes is today, January 5th. And your assignment will be due, your icebreaker, it'll be due by Sunday the 7th, which that's a loose due date. So if it's a couple days after that, that's okay because we are just starting. So if you turn it in like Monday or Tuesday, the 8th or the 9th, that's fine too. Basically, we just want to make sure we're all getting to know each other and that we've sort of done that icebreaker activity and gotten prepared to have discussions together. All right, well, I hope you guys have a great day. I am super excited about this semester. We're going to have a good time. And just be sure to check out all of that information. And of course, please contact me if you have any questions at all.